This is do or die. Feel it in my veins tonight. Emotional suicide. You know it's an eye for eye.
Unce music going on. There, I'll pipe it out to you guys. There you go. Hey internet, my name is Todd. Welcome to the stream. If you're listening after the fact, welcome to the podcast or the YouTube. And shout out to the podcast. Thank you. We're actually reaching a milestone. I hope in the next couple of weeks to reach 5,000 listens. So thank you so much, everybody. I see you, Utah. I see you. But yeah, spread the word. If you want to support us, hit the like or the follow, the various things. It'd be great. And we can keep making some more shows for you. All right, tonight we're going to be playing some Dungeons and Dragons. In particular, we're in the middle of a homebrew campaign. I'm putting that in scare quotes because that's what I do. You'll see what I mean later. But we've had a couple of twists and turns along the way, and mostly, we're on a boat. So that's kind of exciting. So let's go meet the rest of the table as they're laughing at my silly. Anyway, so we'll just jump over to that. Where's the button? That does the button. There it is. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Hello? Hey.
Hello.
Wait a minute. Who the is that? Oh, wait. It's Bella. Welcome back, Bella. Dance Bella. Oh, my timer's going off here. I believe Tihmily will be joining us a little bit later on. But welcome back, everybody, but especially to Bella. And we're always have a place at our table. For those who didn't see before, Bella was in our previous D&D campaign. I don't remember. I don't think you were part of the wind-up for this one.
No. I was steeped in work and just getting back now.
Yeah, I hear that. I definitely hear that. I'm staying up way too late.
Which is runs together too.
That's right. And I would love to start doing a few more Shadowruns as well. If you are a Shadowrun fan and you want to check out our previous stuff, we did a couple campaigns now. One of them really loose and like episodic. Episodic. And then the other one's more serial. So you can check those out in the previous. But let's go around the horn. We'll introduce ourselves and our characters, and we'll dive right back in because I know Gordon's on a timeline. All right, let's start it off over just next to me over here, which on my screen is Carl. Hey, Carl, welcome back.
Hey, guys. Yeah. So, Carl, enjoying the campaign so far. Good job, Todd. I'm playing
Good job,
Dave Tillman, your resident Twilight Cleric. This Tortle, peaceful guy. Don't get him riled up.
It's true. Peaceful until he's not. Exactly. All right, let's keep going around the horn. Gordon, I think we should do you next here. So, Gordon, welcome back.
Sure. Thanks. Playing Rook, a phantom rogue, who has a plan. He has a plan.
He's got a plan. A phantom.
I
Nice.
have a plan.
A phantom with a plan. I feel like there's an acronym we could figure out there, like he's a ghost with the most, that kind of thing.
Most with the most. Sure.
He's a specter with a lectern? No, that doesn't work. Anyway, we'll keep going. I know Bella missed my cheesy ass jokes. Yeah. All right. Speaking of Bella, welcome back.
Hey, I'm so excited to be back. It's been a really long 8 months, but I'm here. I'm so excited. I'm Bella, and I was in the previous campaign, and tonight I will be playing ... You'll meet her shortly.
Absolutely. I think the other players haven't, but it's on the screen now. Internet, we give you all the spoilers. In fact, last week we gave you quite a few. So if you haven't seen that, there's some stuff and some bonus content. And the players? No. Just no. Just no. Okay? No. Anyway, That's for them only. No, it's fine. I hope you can enjoy it as the story unravels into chaos, which might happen tonight. Anyway, let's keep going around the horn. Steve.
Gex Tech for doing his thing. I was discussing, and like.
Oh yeah, he's
his
a Goliath,
backstory.
by the way, so you can picture what's going on there, Bella.
Well, Gex, yeah. So for Bella and for those of you who, for some reason, this is just your first time watching, Gex Techford, Goliath rogue, kind of thinks of himself as the world's largest cat burglar. He's full of contradiction, generally kind of happy-go-lucky, but enjoys a good adventure scheme. And so, for those of you who don't know, I created the character with about 3 minutes to go before we went live on the first episode of the campaign. It literally put him together with 3 minutes. So he's had no backstory. I haven't even developed one in my mind, but he's starting to get one. And my decision was just kind of to let it come into my head organically. So he's 62 years old. This is what he knows. This is what you can know about him so far. 62 years old. So he's obviously lived a rather mundane life. If you think about a level 1 character being 62 years old, farmer, who knows what his background really was, but it was boring, let's say. And so this is it. He's decided to be an adventurer. And very early on, he learned he was good with his hands. Maybe he was a watchmaker. We don't know. But he was good at pickpocketing. So now he's kind of, expanding on what he'll do with his skills, and he keeps acquiring more skills. That's the little tidbit of his background that we'll divulge right now.
Awesome. And we also know one more thing, that is that you've got an ex-wife and back in the city that you've left, and you knew you were ducking her because
here's the thing. When he left his ex-wife, he wanted to go adventuring. He invited her to come along. She wasn't into it. He was like, I'm going to go get on a sailing ship and I'm going to be a pirate. Any of you who have watched a certain Taika Waititi show know what I'm talking about. And she was just, I ain't having any of this. So she actually registered him as dead in the local town office. So as far as his hometown is concerned, he's dead. He's lost all his worldly possessions, but he doesn't care. He's on an adventure.
He's like gone off to
so if he
die
runs
in
into
a
her,
corner.
it's kind of awkward.
All right. And of course, I'll be doing the DMing. And we do have Tihmily here. I just saw her pop in. So are you there, Tihmily?
Oh, yeah, I should have kept the camera.
She's a real person.
It's all good.
No, I'm a real person. Personage. I had my camera off because the dinner is still
no
being
problem.
eaten.
Not a problem.
Yes, I am. Hello
Okay.
to the
Tell us a
people.
little bit about yourself there and your character there, Tihmily.
Well, I play Hilda Bonebraid, who is a med school dropout and has sought to sort of redeem herself through adventuring. But it hasn't gone so great, other than finding these strange acquaintances. One, she's lost her father's tool box somewhere in the bottom of the ocean, so
Oh dear.
got some explaining to do if I ever do get back home. But yeah, that's Hilda. Oh, she's a dwarf paladin.
All right. And everybody on the ship has also been doing various jobs. So you've been learning how to do particular tasks on board the ship. And that's pretty much all I really need to say about that. Speaking of the ship, you have all been working your way. You've been trying on not all of you, but most of you here have been working your way from Tazvarel over to one of the spines, the mountainous island states that are often run, or at least affiliated, rumored to be ruled by dragons, and those who pretty much flat out worship them. Certainly those who work for them. Now, as you have been going, you've encountered all kinds of strange creatures, both on the ocean and on in the land before you left, and so forth. And so you have you encountered this massive squid-like creature which attacked the ship and severely damaged it. And rather than risk traveling in a very damaged ship, you put in at hopefully a safe harbor. Well, no, there's no harbor there, but you put in at a cove where you could hopefully repair the ship. Along the way, you also managed to fight a frickin' T-Rex and meet a crazed old druid, elven druid who's been on that island for way too long. You've managed to repair the ship a little bit. You've managed to refresh the stores of fresh water and some fresh fruit and so on. So no scurvy for you. And then you struck back out onto the oceans in an attempt to finish your quest. And with that, I believe that brings us more or less up to speed. Now, without further ado, we're going to dive into the game and we'll pick up pretty much where we left off in just a moment. Let's go run the credits. Here we go. Let's try that again. It's good to be back on the ocean again. The waves, at first, Tillman especially, it took you some time to get used to the constant waves, the rocking back and forth, the sensations which in some cases led to extreme nausea. But after being through several difficult spots, I believe you've had a crash and a massive storm, and you've also had a creature attack the ship, killing several on board, and you managed to drive it away. So, just sailing peacefully out of this beautiful, pristine, almost Caribbean in style harbor, the crescent-shaped harbor falling away behind you, the open ocean in front of you. The sky above is pretty clear, at the moment anyway, and you can see you're heading a little bit south at this point, and then at which point your navigator, who was pretty wrecked up actually, she's still resting down below from the squid attack. Actually, it was an errant powder keg that went off and damaged her. So fortunately, you happen to have a navigator in reserve. And so I'm going to ask your ship's navigator to make a roll, please. I believe that's you there, Gordon.
Yes. Okay. Oh, well. Starting off strong.
Oh, I should open that.
Nat 2026.
Whoa.
We're going in the right direction.
Not only that, but you pick up the charts, you see exactly where you are. And there's two things you notice with that nat 20. The first one, okay, to get where you're going to this spine, you need to go around this island, around the last of the atolls just nearby. So you don't want to accidentally run across some of those shoals. So you're going to have to skirt south for about maybe 2 leagues and then cut sharply towards the west and then track back a little bit north. So you have exactly the route, even the bearings. You sit there and you're like, wait a minute, I think she made a mistake here. You actually went through and corrected from some of her initial rough notes. She had been a bit hurt to handle this part. So you managed to successfully and safely plot your route. Speaking of safely, it's a damn good thing, because as you get a good look at the charts, you roll it out that little bit extra, and you see this atoll or whatever the heck you call it, is essentially a ring, forms a large ring separated out, and you skirted on your way in between two and landed at this one, which is a little bit, it's part of a cluster of islands spread out over, and you fold out the map, you pull up the next one, you lay it down, you line up the charts, and you see, oh, these islands make a rough circular shape, probably almost 200 miles across in the center. And in the middle, in her scrawling handwriting, you can see FS written in the middle. And there's a little exclamation point there with her little Tortle shell done as part of the exclamation point. So, you managed to determine the safest route forward from this point. Next up, the captain is just steering you south right now. Gex, where are you at the moment?
We're all back in the boat, obviously, right? We're underway, so somewhere on deck, probably up in the aft deck, with a good view of things.
Absolutely. All right, so I'm going to get you to roll a command roll for me. See how things are going so far.
Command. Well, it's just
Persuasion.
charisma. Oh, persuasion. Yeah, that makes sense. $14.
All right. The crew seems to be responding. The captain is currently just taking a little break below, and you're at the helm, and you've got the person who steers the boat, the tiller person, is taking your commands, and at this point, somebody, wait 1 second. All right, somebody comes walking up from down below with an urgent message. Ella, that's you.
Do I see the captain?
No, you've come up on the deck looking for him, and he seems to not be on. There's this other guy up near the tiller. You've seen him around, but you've been on the second shift.
But I know him to be pseudo in command, at least, when
Yes.
the captain's not around.
Yeah, you know him. That you do know that he is the first mate in training.
Okay.
FMIT.
I will hurriedly run up. What is her name, by the way?
Oh, Anna.
Do we know?
You know.
Anna?
Yeah, Anna. Yep.
Anna had, oh my god, she just went up and shouted that he was coming, and now she's on the deck just sobbing. We need to do something. We need to tell the captain. We need to deal with this. I don't know who she meant was coming, though. It didn't sound good.
Gex, you please do an intelligence check for me.
Intelligence. Oh,
I forgot. She also said, I would have told you about we're in danger. The White Wings Sea. I would have said that as well, because she was screaming that.
We're in danger from the white-winged sea, and a crazy girl is on deck crying. Okay.
Well, yeah.
How'd you do on the int check there, Steve?
15.
15. Okay, It takes you a few seconds to place the person in front of you. You're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Then you realize, oh, right, she's on the second shift. Normally she'd be sleeping around during the day, and you guys are training during the day, so you haven't spent all that much time with the second shift. But you do recognize her. Is something was her name, and she's standing there. She's a little bit worked up, and pointing something out.
Is I'm gonna call you Is. Take me to Anna.
What?
Let's go over chit chat with her.
Isolde.
Right. Anna. Where's she at right now?
I'm not Is. Okay. Anyway, she's over
Oh.
here. Come, quick.
You gotta pardon my senior moment. He strokes his gray beard.
And I'll just turn and hustle. And basically, what you see is a 5 foot nothing, half elf girl, very young, you could tell she's incredibly young, to be kind of here dealing with stuff, and her immaturity is showing a little bit.
It's about then as you're heading down below the decks, and she's leading you down to the galley. When you enter the galley, you can see in front of you some of the tables have been thrown aside and kind of shoved around. Now they don't shove easy. A lot of some of them are pretty heavy. Others are actually anchored to the deck, but some of the stools and so on can be moved around. And whatever could have been moved from the central area has actually been shoved aside, and you see a few of the other crew kind of looking, and then they see you come in, and they look visibly relieved that you have shown up there, Gex, and they're like, and they point towards the middle of this little pile in the center, where things have been shoved aside as best it can, and then some of the table has actually been cracked and it's on a bit of an angle, and you can see a little hunched figure underneath this one table, furiously scratching and scribbling on the deck. And it takes you a few seconds. You're like, oh, Anna. And she's in some kind of frenzy as she's just scrubbing the ground and just like, and you can hear this muttering as it's like,
okay. So Gex is gonna switch into grandfather mode here in his brain. I'm gonna just touch Isolde on the shoulder and say, Isolde, do you know Hilda Bonebraid? She's the dwarf paladin. She's got the red hair. Do you know where she sleeps?
You recognize the description, and you know where
Do
the
I?
crew quarters are.
Yeah. Can you go find?
Yeah, I can go.
Can you go find her for me? And let's remain calm and bring her here.
Okay. Calm.
And then I'm gonna go. And then I'm gonna kind of, as calmly as I can, just walk up to Anna, kind of crouch down beside her, and say, Anna, can you hear me?
And she
You
looks
see
up.
me?
She looks up at you,
Can
and her
you look at
hair is
me?
all dangling in her face, and like full on the ring. You know, like she's about 12-ish, and just totally emaciated, totally super pale, and just her eyes are completely black, like no white at all, no color, no nothing, just jet black eyes. And she looks up at you, and her teeth are all jagged and sharp, and her jaw is extended a little bit further than normal, and her fingers are extra long, and they're coated in this black substance. And then she kind of reaches up and looks at you and bites her finger to the point of drawing blood, and you see it almost bursts as though it's been full with blood, and the blood runs down her chin, and she kind of looks up at you and is like,
Yeah. Are they here yet?
Not yet.
Good.
So you know that we have time.
she starts
You know that we
scribbling,
have time, and I'm here.
and she's
Anna.
painting now with the black ichor on the
Focus
one
on
hand
me.
and the red blood
Mm.
accenting the stuff on the floor.
Anna. I'm just going to focus on her. Anna, look me in the eyes. Focus on me for a minute, Anna. This is Gex. You know me. I know you. I'm safe. You can trust me. Tell me more. Tell me more about who you're worried about. Tell me more. I want to know.
No, the white wings. The white wings. The white wings. I was told.
White wings. I don't know the white wings. Tell me about the white wings.
Seas.
I don't know them.
White wings seas. Have you seen them?
No, I haven't seen them.
And she reaches
So
up
I'm
and
gonna
kind of
assume
clutches
that
at
means
your
we have
chest, like,
time.
have you seen them?
No. Tell me about them. Tell me what I should be worried about with them.
It's not them. My sisters. My mothers. They told me. They tell me. White wings. Seas.
How do they see?
And she looks at you and gives you this. It's actually the first time you've seen her kind of retreat from her frenzy a little bit more, and almost some of the color comes back to her eyes and like the white just around the very edges as she looks at you almost incredulously, like. And then she looks you right in the eyes and she goes,
You, of all people, should know that.
and she blinks again and more of the white appears in her eyes. She seems to be calming down and she looks over and sees the crew, and she visibly, and about now, Isolde and Hilda come in. Actually, you would have also, Tillman was pretty close to where Hilda was, and Rook, unless you were up with the navigating room, so you weren't really near all this. So we'll get you in just a minute. But Tillman and Hilda and Isolde come back in, and you're all in the galley.
Okay, so before I say anything to that, I said, Anna, I wanna know fully. I understand a little, but I want to know fully. So, why should I know, of all people? Just pretend I don't know why I should know. Maybe for everyone's benefit. Tell me why I should know.
You people and your secrets. Yeah. For you.
Sometimes I forget.
You call it. It comes. It watches for you. It was on the beach. It flew out. I saw it. Its name.
Oh, you mean my familiar?
Yes.
So the white wings are someone's familiar.
Yeah. She says, and she's just like, of course. Do another intelligence check for me.
Yeah.
Hilda, Tillman, you're all in here. Isolde, you're all back in the galley watching this go down. Oh, and thankfully, Gex did ask a person to hold the tiller, so somebody is steering.
We
It
just
was
go
actually
right
just
back.
going in
crashing
circles.
Into...
Actually, that'll be part of this intelligence check, just for fun. If he botches
Yeah,
it, y'all are in circles.
I hope not. It's a dirty 20.
Oh, yeah, you're fine. All right, with a dirty 20, you think, and you're like, okay, I remember what do I have to do on my list of things? And you think back to the island, and you're like, wait. You do remember seeing a large white albatross-style bird, not near the island, and it was before the storm. And that's
The mean gulls.
Okay, so I'm gonna Tillman. Do you have
Yeah,
something?
man.
Do you have something we can give her to calm her, but like ever so slightly, not too much? I don't want to overdose her. And Hilda, can you do that truthy thing again?
Well, man, I can see what I can do, but I gave all the potions to Hilda, man.
I
Yeah,
also have
Not,
all the
it's okay.
all right.
Maybe
Tillman,
even just one of them happy, relaxy things you got going on there.
Oh, I got some natural
Never ever
remedies,
mind.
man. But
Tillman, I'm gonna ask you to
Whatever.
roll a medicine check for me.
Little, small amount, tiny.
well,
All right, that's not wonderful. So you peel off one of the mushrooms off your shell, and you kind of scoot down, and Tillman, as you approach, Anna looks at you like, and the fingers start to elongate and the claws start to extend, and the rest of the crew looks visibly spooked as you've kind of coaxed her out from under the table, but now she kind of retreats a little, and then she looks back at Tillman as he approaches and is just like,
What?
Well, the other thing, where's Rook at this point?
last you saw, he was in the navigator's office, near the captain's,
Yeah.
up top.
Navigating.
Yeah, Isolde, I need you to go find the navigator. I need you to go find Rook. Can you find him?
Yes. Calm. Right? Calm. And I run. Like, I just sprint like nobody's tomorrow.
And like,
Wow. You can see like the clouds of dust trailing behind this.
So, Hilda, let me know when you've cast your spell.
Alright, I will cast it. Though it does have like a range effect, so that will impact anybody who can't.
Yeah, well, I've been under the effects of this before. I'm okay. I don't have any secrets
Alright,
of the
I
unbearable nature.
will take my time to cast it. Let's see if Anna has the charisma saving throw of 15.
all right. So,
Everybody make a saving throw.
everybody make a charisma saving throw, please. Actually, Isolde, you're okay,
Oh.
and Rook, you're okay.
I'm
My
okay because
favorite.
I'm
Yeah, we're
gone.
not in. Yeah.
nope.
Oh. Yep.
Always the
Uh,
truth, man.
Wait. Oh. Wow, my charisma saving throw modifier is
I won.
insane.
I have -2, so
How do I have plus 11? Is that even possible?
That's got to be
Mm,
the stat
no.
11.
That 11. Okay.
So
Oh,
that's
I
a
missed
plus
seeing
one.
all the.
Oh no, that's +0. So you just straight roll.
Yeah,
it.
it would be like +3 proficiency if you have proficiency
Right.
plus your charisma modifier.
Which, as a paladin, I
Which
think you do.
I think she has like 18, so +4, and
All right. So pretty much everyone in the place failed, including, and Hilda would know this, including Anna, as this. What does it look like when the kind of burst goes off? You can describe your magic if you want to, there, Hilda.
So I am picturing sort of like a sort of blooming golden dome, just like a faint glimmer. You can sort of see like sparkles, but it's very faint. You can, if you're not looking carefully, you can perceive it.
Cool.
And it just kind of disperses.
So anybody with a fairly high passive perception picks up this magic as it goes off, and you can all settle it. You can all feel it settle on you, almost like putting on a heavy coat. You can just feel it pressing on you, not uncomfortably, but you're aware that it's there. And after
I
a
was
few
thinking like a warm bath.
yeah.
Like,
Just from a player's perspective, if you were not in the area of effect when the spell was cast and then you come into it later, does it affect you? Or if you
No.
leave it after you've been hit with it, does it affect you?
I think it's if you are there when it goes off and then it settles on you for the duration, and then when you I don't know about the if you leave it part. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it says like if you can stay evasive if you remain within the boundaries of the spell. I'm assuming that means if you leave like this area,
Right.
you won't
That
be
makes sense.
affected.
So then if you walk into it after, are you hit with it?
I would
I
say maybe if it's
Is the
a
casting
sort of
time
area.
is it instantaneous, or does it have a time on the duration? I should look
It
this up.
says 10 minutes.
Okay, let's say if you enter it, you get caught in this glitter dust of truth.
I don't think it matters for us right now.
Probably not, but you never know down the
Sure.
line. All right,
There
so
may be certain advantages and disadvantages as the strategy, but
absolutely.
not anymore.
All right, so
Okay,
you're
and
all glitter bombed, and you can tell that if you lie in this zone, it will be known.
Mhm.
You're just compelled to kind of tell the truth. However, you can choose to be quiet or evasive, but you must otherwise let us know if you're lying, or at least let Hilda know. All right. So
Fine,
meanwhile, Anna looks up at you, and she's got these little motes of glitter, truth glitter in her eyes, and she blinks a little, and then she's just. And I just realized she does get advantage, but she failed on both of them. So hey, so she looks up at you, and Tillman, did you give her something?
You tell me with that medicine check.
Well, you gave her something, right?
I gave her a mushroom, man. I gave her this true, man, but if she needs a bit more, she go see Hilda. She's got the potions.
Nice.
Well,
All right,
but
so
she
These heal you. They don't necessarily alter your emotional state.
she takes the mushroom from that Tillman's offering her. She sniffs it, and like licks it just a little. And like her eyes do the opposite. It was total black before, and then it goes down to these teeny pinpoints. Everything is now white except bloodshot, except the teeny pinpoints in her eyes. And she looks at Tillman, and she's just like,
Hey, Anna. Hey, Anna. Hi, Anna. It's okay. Is it okay if I ask you some questions now?
she nods yes.
So when you first came to us, you were somewhat cryptic about where your journey started out.
I live in the West Grotto. Or,
West Grotto.
yes, with my sisters and my mothers.
Mothers and sisters.
It became time for me to leave, to begin my exploration, to begin understanding the world better.
Hmm. So do you know whose familiars the White Wings are? Who do the White Wings belong to? Who are they attached to, I should say?
They're attached to the bird. But the bird is attached to the mage.
Tell me more about this mage. Who is this mage?
I don't know his name, but
Okay.
my sisters saw him coming. Him and his men. They've kept the distance just behind, beyond the horizon fall. But they watch. They watch.
Where was this? Where did you see the mage and his men?
Oh, silly. I didn't. My sisters.
Okay.
They watch. And they see
Where did they see the mage?
in their dreams, in the shells, in the pools, where they watch all that they can.
So, do you know physically where the mage is? Where is he?
And she kind of sniffs around the air and looks past you all and then turns around slowly and then runs her hands gently, like just walks right at the crew who's just watching this go down. They're all just like, it's like dinner and a show for them. And she walks right like through a guy, like not like through him metaphysically, like just bowls him right over. This one little halfling, Lek, is just like, oh, go! Scrambles out of the way as she walks towards the back wall and takes her clawed finger and just thunk right into the wood, and it embeds like a good 1/4 inch into the wood. And she's just like,
That way. Not more than a day.
Someone get a compass and tell me which direction she's pointing. Or do I know?
you can probably figure it out if you'd held the previous bearing. You can figure it out. They're a little bit. It's like southwest.
Good. Hey, come back, Anna. Come sit over here.
She goes back over and sits cross-legged, and she like Tillman starts to go away, and she grabs him and hugs him in, and her arms. He's a big Tortle, but her arms, even though she's only 12 and very small, her arm easily loops around him and back with room to spare as she kind of, she's like, it's almost like she's got an extra elbow. It's really creepy. And Tillman, she's got you in this kind of loose bear hug, and she's just like,
Do you have any more?
Hey, man. Got ration the stock, alright? He had one powerful dose.
yeah, you realize now, I rolled for you on a D10. It was a 10.
So
Oh,
that's interesting. Hilda, do you have any questions for her?
Let's see.
We're obviously being watched.
How did you know how when this mage started following us? Was it from when we left the shores? Left on.
It was before.
And she points over to the like wrecked area, like some of the damage from the octopus attack. And then she's like,
I think there was a storm. I was hiding. I don't know that they ever stopped.
Anna, does this mage after you or your family?
I don't know.
Who do you think his target is?
and she looks around the room, and then she looks back at that weird scrawling in the floor that she'd been doing, and she holds up a finger like she's just got this idea, and she runs around the room. and she runs up to you, Gex. And do you have a beard or any kind of?
Yeah.
Okay, she reaches up and grabs a tuft of hair out of your beard, just yanks on a chunk of it, and then she runs over. And Isolde, she grabs a bit of your hair and then she runs up to Hilda and like gently kind of runs her fingers through your red hair, and then she just snatches a bit of it out. And then she runs up to Tillman and runs her hand along his face, and then she's like, and just takes her claw. It's weird. Witch magic or hag magic is weird because she looks like a 12-year-old emaciated human girl, but then she runs her hand, and for a second you look, and it's just like this really knobbly, long clawed hand suddenly again, and she just does a little slight nick like you were shaving, and she just gets, and there's a tiny little blood drop on the end of her claw, and then she looks around the room some more, and then she points, and Lek goes, "Oh God, no, 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 no!" And he starts running away, and she's like, "Anybody? You're gonna let Lek get away?" As he starts running away from the room.
Hey man, that's not cool. You're cut off.
No,
No more
I'm gonna-
mushrooms. No more mushrooms.
No, Lek, I'm gonna grab Lek. He doesn't get to run away.
He said, "Oh, thank you. She's really creepy." And then she walks.
You'll be okay. Just sit down.
She walks up, and she just kind of suddenly squats down, her knees way up past her head. As she squats down, unbelievably bent down, and she reaches out to his toes, and she grabs a tuft of hair and just yanks it right off, and he gives this yelp and hops back up and like scrambles away from Gex with this look of betrayal. And then she scuttles back to the center of the room, and she looks around, she grabs a discarded cup, pours it in there, and does this big ol' spit into the cup. And for a second, you're like, okay, she's like, and instead of just a loogie, you see like, it's almost like, I'm sure we've all been there. Serious, unrestrained vomit. You know what I mean? Like the full gusher. You know what I mean? Except in her case, it's not bile, it's seawater. And it just goes into the cup and starts over hitting the deck and stuff. And then she wipes her face and then puts this mug down in the middle of her scratchings. And she waves her hand over it for a few seconds. And there's this, it starts to bubble and boil. And then after a little while, these little pieces and shapes start to emerge, and you see this little tiny hand reach up out of it and then get retreated back in, and then another one, a larger hand this time, and you see the top of a tiny little, almost like homunculin body, but you look at it and it is almost spot on image of Hilda for a second, and back underneath, and then you see and you're just like, what the hell? And then you see this face emerge, and she's just for a few seconds it swirls and looks like this vaguely humanoid face, and then it fades away, and she's like, "Oh, none. Oh, I forgot." She reaches up, pulls her own hair, and drops it in, and the whole thing begins to froth and bubble wildly for a few seconds, then settles down. And nothing. And she looks around the room. It's none of us yet.
So the mage is looking for none of us.
None of us. I can do this for a few more minutes.
Well, that's it. Who hasn't?
Everybody
Who
gets
hair
their
did you
hair.
not? What
Everybody.
Whose hair did you not get?
And she,
Our,
looks, she looks around the room, and Gex is like rubbing his sore foot. Not Gex, sorry, Lek.
Lek, yeah. Did Rook and Isolde come back?
Yeah, at this point they come back.
She got my hair.
Did
Oh,
she
right,
get a hair? You and then Rook.
Yeah, at this point, I'm like looking at this weirdness, and I was like, "You guys take care of this. I'm going back to the navigation room."
No. We need the hair. And the Tortle. We didn't get a hair off the Tortle.
His
Man,
got blood.
don't
should
have any.
suffice.
His blood should do the trick, she indicates.
We
I-
just need a lineup of
I
everybody
have
on
blood.
the ship.
No, you will know. Your hair was in there. Rook, you can't leave. You gotta give a hair.
Weird.
Just give a hair, man.
Isolde will just run up to him really fast again, and just like go around his back and yank on his hair and bring it to
Okay.
her.
Oh well, dodge.
All right, do an athletics check,
Contested?
Isolde, or an attack, and Rook, I need you to do an acrobatics or athletics to get out of the way.
Acrobatics.
So I have to do
Roll
athletics
twice there, Rook, you know what.
or...
Yep.
Sorry, I have to do athletics or what?
Either an attack or athletics.
So would it be an
terrible.
unarmed attack?
Yep.
Okay. I will take that. All right.
Well, that's a 7. That's not gonna do it.
Fall on my ass.
Yeah. Rook is live, and he just sidesteps you and actually kind of puts a stool in between you and him, and you just ass over tea kettle over this stool, and everyone's like, "Oh!" And in that second,
I
Rook-
help her up.
Yeah, you
help
bend
her
down, you help her up, you do the brush her off a little bit.
And then I say, okay, whatever,
just
guys. And
red
I
as
hand
hell.
over the piece of hair.
Okay, so you hand it over to the hag, and she's like, and she drops it into the pot in the middle of this scratchings of these symbols on the floor and blood and ichor, and it froths again for a few seconds, and then you see this little hand reach up just for a moment out, and then back down underneath the water. She holds it, she looks at it, and she looks around again.
Still, no one. They hunt this ship, but not this part of the crew. However,
Okay.
And she looks around all of you, and she looks intently at each of you, and then kind of looks down at her own hands, which are resumed to the regular human-looking hands. And she looks back up again and says,
but if they found us, they found me. Or some of us. I'm sure they would be most displeased.
So if the mages found the person they looked for on this ship, they'd be displeased. That's what you're saying?
No. Well, I don't know. If they find a hag, if they find me, they will destroy me.
Why?
Their kind always hunts my sisters. It's an old blood feud.
How did that? How did the blood feud originate?
We don't have time for long stories.
Yeah, we're on a ship. It's not like there's a market you need to get to.
all right. In a nutshell, she explains how sea hags have always been gatherers of power and knowledge over the seas and the shores, and the mages have traditionally also been doing the same thing. They've been hoarding knowledge and power and magics, and so originally the hags believed that the mages actually were trying to steal their power. The mages say that they're an evil creature that needs to be destroyed. But it has been, according to her, going on for a long, long time that the mage towers have been against her peoples. It's a traditional blood feud from that point of view.
Well, Anna, that's just racist.
The truth of it, Gex, is that when they boarded before, I hid her because I found out her nature.
Yeah, well, I figured that. Figured you're just being nice about it. But, having more details as in regards to what the truth of a matter actually is always helpful.
Speak to me true, Goliath.
Is
Yes,
it your
ask me any
intent?
question you wish.
Is it
Pardon?
your intent to sell me out?
No. In fact, I find you fascinating.
And she looks over at Hilda for a second, and then back to you, and gives a little nod.
They're coming.
And I'll look over at Gex and be like, "That's what she said. That's what she said when she was up there, and then she fell, and yeah, that's what she said.
Okay.
We're in danger."
One last question, Anna. How soon do you think they're coming?
And she looks.
How much time do we have?
She looks around the room almost like she wants to please you and tell you the answer to that question, but she doesn't seem to know it. And she looks into all of your faces, and she looks into the cup, and she just glares at Lek for a few seconds, and he's just practically like hiding behind Rook's leg at this point. And then she looks back and she says,
I don't know. But their ship is fast. They travel with the speed of magic winds, and I don't know. I will look. And if I can tell, I will tell you.
I
and she
believe you.
drinks the entire mug of this stuff, gulps it all down, and vomits a little in her own mouth, and then continues to choke the rest of it down until it's all gone. And then she just drops them. She looks at the mug as though kind of like an old lady reading tea leaves, and she kind of settles down on the floor cross-legged, slowly rocking back and forth. All right. What do you want to do?
Well, I think we need to make this ship go fast.
Could Hilda do like a constitution check and like seeing all that showing up and then
Please do.
oh that is a that's 13.
Oh, okay. You don't like full on vomit, but you gotta get some air like now.
So Hilda immediately is like, good idea. Yeah, I'm gonna go.
All
This
right.
is why I'm a med school dropout. Like the
Yeah,
autopsy.
blood and vomit,
Cadaver
Can't stand
section.
vomit.
toe
Can't
hair,
stand blood.
blood, vomit, and toe hair. That's the combo right there.
I have been navigating us around the frontier spin. We are not going to be able to outrun their ship
You're about
since we
3 days, maybe 4, from your destination.
and they are maybe over the horizon, maybe a day behind us, but they could catch us. They're waiting for their moment. Maybe we risk the frontier spin. Try to lose them.
Is it dangerous?
Very dangerous. Just ask
Let's
Tammy.
do it.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know exactly what's going on with it, but Tammy was very like, "Ooh, this is scary. Frontier spin."
Yeah, let's do it. Come on.
One more question for the sea hag. We're still in the spell, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, it's been almost the end of the 10 minutes, but yeah.
Oh, maybe two questions. One, have you ever traveled through the frontier spin yourself?
And she looks up from the mug and looks at you all, and she kind of gives this like incredulous look.
Never from above.
Okay. Okay, so maybe that leads to more questions. Can it be done in a ship? Can we do it? Is there a way that you know of that we can do it?
I don't know. But I have this. A boon.
And she stands up, and her legs are now like almost twice as long as her normal legs, and she's been very hunched over, and she stands up. She's now like almost 7 feet tall, just as she's elongating into her full height, and she bends down, and she walks up to Hilda, and she looks at Hilda, and she says,
May I?
and like you can see the crusted vomit on the side of her mouth, and she pulls in closer and closer to your face, and she whispers again,
May I?
you can say no if you want, or yes, it's up to you. And she's leaning forward. There's a strong sense of salty bile.
Oh, you're really testing that 13. All right.
She begins to back away, sensing your hesitation as you're just like, ah.
I could do it. Just maybe here. Can I retrieve like a napkin or something?
Yeah, there's one on the floor there.
Okay. Yeah.
And you just wipe her chin a little bit. Nice. You just give her a little wipe down, and it's almost like a mom like licking and cleaning their kid, like, and she seems to kind of lean into it like it's the kindest gesture she's had in a long time. And then she kind of gives a little shake, and then her eyes open, and at this close you realize this large creature, her eyes are huge, like you know, she's a 7 foot tall sea hag in training. Like she's a juvenile sea hag, and she smiles, and then she kind of leans in like suddenly as the like, and then her lips just touch your forehead, just right here, and it's just soft. It's just this gentle little kiss on the forehead, and she pulls back, and you're just like, okay. And then she runs over and repeats the same thing, almost kneeling down to get to Lek, who's just like, no, Captain.
Sexual harassment.
And she shrugs and lets him run away. And she turns to Rook, and she kind of cocks her head a little bit.
Like, you don't need me for this.
You might need me for this.
What are you planning to do?
I want to help you. I don't know all that my sisters know, but I know a few tricks.
I've hold up the ring. Does this have something to do with it?
And she kind of looks a little puzzled for a second and looks at the ring again. Oh, the ring or the shell thing? Because there was a little
Or the shell ring.
Okay.
It was the shell.
But she sees both as you raise it there. And she kind of looks puzzled for a second and says, aren't we connected? And in that second, you kind of give a bit of a nod, and she glances a little kiss on your cheek this time. And you just feel a little dampness for a second, and then it's gone. And she leans over to Tillman.
You sure?
She gives this big toothy smile, and then almost back to just the human girl, and just leans in and gives you a little kiss on the cheek. And then she retreats back, and she looks at Isolde, and she's like,
Do you need more blood?
not yet.
Okay, never mind.
And she grabs your
I can help.
hands and just gives you a kiss on the hands. Both of them, and then lets them go. And then she turns back to Gex. And she leans up and gives you a kiss on the cheek, and then retreats again. And each of you, when that happens, you just feel this little shimmer of just slightly cold, and then it passes. And okay, she sits back down and kind of starts digging in the mug again. I'll let you know if there's anything else.
Anna, one last question. You've been on the ship for a while, and you should be able to answer this by now, I would think, based on how you've seen us. Do you trust us?
My kind doesn't trust, but we do make deals.
And she looks over at Rook.
A broken deal does not bode well. So, I'll make you a deal. I'll help you. You help me. To get away. Or take them down.
Is she talking to just Rook or to all of us right there?
That last second, she's kind of talking to all of you.
I think it's certainly.
I'm just kind of going to glance back and forth between the two of them for a second. Because I know they spent a little time. Anna, will you tell me if anything interesting comes up you think I might want to know?
Of course.
Or how about you tell me if there's something I think I might want to know?
She kind of visibly tracks that thought, like, as her eyes go from left, then up, then down, then back, and to the middle, then back to you. And then she's like, okay.
Okay.
Then we have an agreement.
Sure.
Happy sailing.
All right. Unless there's something else anybody wants to do, I'm going to need some rolls. You've already got your navigation roll, and you've already given your command roll. I'm going to need... how are you going to help in this next step? And you do have to decide, are you making a run for the spine? Are you making a run into the frontier spin? She didn't say no, and she did say she would help you as best she could.
Yeah, I think we need to talk with the captain. I mean, navigator, captain, first mate, at least.
Before we
And then-
just veer the ship into almost
Take
Or at least
over.
skirt its edge. Yeah.
Well, I
Right.
got two. I'm of two minds of it. Like, we're all talking here, so I'll stay in the group for a second. I'm of two minds about this. One, when I was younger, I used to play tag with my friends. And they would never catch me. And the reason they would never catch me was that near our house there were patches of raspberry and blackberry bushes. And I used to just run through those at full speed and take the scratches and come out of it on the other side bloody, but they never caught me. I'm thinking of the same thing here. If we're willing to go somewhere they aren't willing to follow, catch my drift, to use a sailing term.
Kind of what I suggested.
The other side of it is sometimes those thorns can hurt. How much blood are we willing to shed of our own for this?
And I just smile and look over at you. I think we should do it.
Well,
Blackberries and all, right?
I proposed it, but I think I agree. We should talk with Tammy and the captain.
okay.
Yeah, that's a good call, man.
Can I get intelligence check from Tillman, Rook, and Hilda?
At 20.
Damn.
Not my finest hour.
19.
A 20, a natural 20, a 19, and a 7. All right. Tillman? You're just like, you had another one ready. You might as well just... It's not going to go back on the shelf. Meanwhile, Rook and Hilda both look at, like, you're like, wait a second, who's this? As you look over at Isolde. I think I'm saying that right. Am I? Okay.
So,
Yeah. So
Yep.
you look over at her and you're like, wait a second. You know her. You knew she was part of the crew, but you're like, wait a minute. What do you know about this person? And then you're like, oh, right. She was the lookout that night that you guys hit the Goblin Sprawl. When the ship collided with that little raft thing. But she seems pretty gung-ho, and Gex doesn't seem to mind, because he doesn't remember that. He forgot who was on lookout that night. And anyway, she's running up to talk to the captain with the rest of you, and it's just like, okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
You knock on the captain's door.
Before we go up, Isolde already run up. Like, who's the little new crew member from the B team? Like,
She's my runner, fetcher, getter. Don't worry about it. She's all good.
Man, it's me.
I had a moment, and I think Hilda and I shared that. She was the lookout on that night when we crashed.
Oh yeah.
Seems to not care about danger.
I mean, she agrees with your plan.
Well,
I tend for us to like live, right? We need to live to get to our destination.
fair enough. However, that can be a useful quality. Maybe not as a lookout. Maybe we need a separate assignment on a regular basis. But a lack of the fear of danger does have its advantages in certain other areas. So, Isolde, we're going to reassign you. But for now, stick around.
She's just. I'm assuming I was there then.
Yeah. You're all just the
listening to all
adults
of-
talking over
I'm
her.
just like watching all of you. Like, okay. Huh? And she's just like, okay, anything you want, I do it. And she'll start running ahead again.
Yeah. All right, you guys need to do a collective persuasion roll as you go and talk to the captain. We're gonna, I need you to just see how good you do at this. It's gonna be a group check, so everybody, persuasion, please, and we'll take kind of the average.
Nat 20.
Hey, Hilda's on fire.
I knew
Holy
that
cow.
was gonna go well.
I didn't do that bad with a -3.
What a -3.
Wow, I have a
There you
+2
have it.
and I did worse.
Ooh, Carl got the 14.
18.
Izzle got the 5. Gordon, Rook got the 18. And oh damn, and Hilda got the 27. How'd you do there, Gex?
Ooh. 20. So 27 plus what? 18.
That's all good. I'm just doing the rough in my head, and the captain's like, all right. Well, you took care of the squid thing, and you kept us alive, and sure, let's do it. And a few seconds later, you hear a limping thump thump and a bunch of swearing as hold on, I don't have the right voice ready yet. I changed it, but one sec.
You gotta be kidding me.
As Tammy kind of pops up and just kind of looks at everybody, you can see she's like leaning heavily on the wall. She's bandaged across the shell. She's even got some burns up her neck and so on. She looks rough from the previous attack. She's been resting for several days, but she still looks pretty rough. And she's just like,
Why, Hilda, Tillman, can't you do something about this? Like help her, heal her?
Yeah, I have the 2 potions.
What about instead of potions, you use your
That's right.
paladin? You have paladin
I have
stuff.
paladin's face,
I love that that's canon.
but I quickly palm Tammy's face.
So she's like,
And
I got a hotkey
and
this. I'm jumping back and forth, but she's
Just like, what are you?
and it just boom. You basically bump, get her right in the face. Shh. And she just half falls, stumbles back, and there's this pulse of kind of a little flash of light from inside your palm, and she breathes, and she's like, okay, I'm Diz. I'm gonna go lie down. Just
you can heal up to.
Just please promise me you're not gonna get us killed.
I mean, sure.
Our hope is to stay alive. Otherwise, we can't do what we came here to do.
The
Great.
only people I kill by accident are the ones I try to kill on purpose.
That is so comforting. I'm gonna go lie down.
so she goes and leaves you to your plan, but you convince the captain, and Tammy is none too happy about it. As you steer your way towards the frontier spin. All right, I think this is a good time for us to take a brief break. Paladinity. Yeah, it was an excellent face grab. So we're gonna go take a, what do we need? 5 minutes? 10 minutes?
It's fine.
All right, so let's take 5-minute
for
break,
5.
and when we come back, we'll see what happens as you steer your ship due east, well, southeast from where you currently are, aiming directly into, at least down towards the center of this ring of the atoll around, and in the center, the frontier spin. So we'll be right back in a few minutes. And
The ring of the atoll around.
yes, the ring of atoll. All right, we'll be back in a bit, everybody.
Ciao.
Where's the button?
Better than the ring of ring of asshole.
The fire.
Oh,
It
no.
burns.
As long as you record it. This one's for Anna. Name is Anna, and I found her on a ride. She rings my bell. I got deck shift in half an hour while she rocks on ships at the docks. He doesn't know who I am, and she doesn't give a damn about me. She's just a teenage sea hack, baby. She's just a teenage sea hack, baby. Listen to strange acquaintance, baby, with me. Ooh.
Oh, it's gotta go with the guitar.
She's just a teenage sea hack, baby. She's just a teenage sea hack, baby. She's just a stranger acquaintance, baby, with me. Ooh.
Oh boy.
Sure, you're a rogue and not a bard?
Well, I mean, in his previous life, right?
All right, we're gonna come back in just a couple seconds here. Yeah, for some reason it
I'll
was
have
not
to-
picking up the guitar. I'm sad about that, but anyway,
Yeah.
I got it. I get it. You had to be a little quiet
Todd?
because we all have lives.
I'm gonna have.
No problem. No problem. I know Gordon's got a bail early too, so it's all good. All right, I think we're back on the stream. Hey, interweebs. Hello.
Oh, but I'm gonna go get the mics. It's okay.
Do what you gotta do, man. All right, so hi everybody, welcome back. We're gonna be pick up from where we left off. However, a quick reminder. First of all, internet, if you're watching this live, we do take your suggestions, and so if you have suggestions, we will try to make them part of our game, either as soon as we can, or if you want to type them into chat on YouTube or Twitch when we play live on Wednesdays. Wait, that's today. We'll try to incorporate it live. Otherwise, we'll take suggestions, put them in the bank, and try to bring them out later. That includes names, that includes plot hooks, twists, or just turns. Just no insta-deaths, unless it's me. Sorry. But anyway, let's dive back in as you turn your ship southeast towards the frontier spin. All right. As you're going, what started out as a beautiful, calm day begins to turn. All right. After a little while, oh, I'm sorry, I had the music going that whole time. We'll have to re-record that at some point there, Steve, but not right now. We'll do it again. No, it wouldn't have been clean, unfortunately. Sorry, man.
Whatever.
I f***ed it up. I need a PA, man. I'm doing like 18 different things. All right. Anywho, so you turn your ship in towards where you've been told not to go. Of course. And you're sailing pretty on steady, and the breeze holds, and you're making good time. And after a while, you notice a shift in the weather. What was a nice, bright, sunny day, you see clouds on the horizon as you just towards the direction you're going. And they begin to overtake most of the sky as you get closer and closer. And there's this roiling pattern to them as you get closer. A vague kind of circular kind of spin with lots of bumpy clouds. And the waves themselves start to get choppier and choppier. And you notice those running the tiller, there's a constant kind of pull off towards the west from where you are right now. And So you kind of have to steer into that across the current as it's dragging you ever so slightly off your bearing. But you press on, and you begin to go, and it's right around the whole run-in with the sea hag probably happened in the morning, and it's right around close to the third meal, dinner time, when one of the crew members up on the back, up on the crow's nest, calls down, "Ship sighted! Ship sighted astern!" And you turn and you get a spyglass and you take a good look. Can I get either two people do a perception check, or one of you with advantage?
I'll do a perception check.
Who is our best perceiver?
I'll assist, but I'm good.
All right. So, Gordon, go ahead and roll with advantage.
Yeah.
First one's 28.
Wow.
28.
All right, 28 holds. All right, so you look and you grab the spyglass and you look where the lookout was pointing, and sure enough, you see billowing white sails, and it's so far away you can't actually see the rest of the ship. It's beyond the curvature of the round planet, but you can just make out the billowing white sails on the horizon, and they appear to be heading in your direction. Almost not quite with the regular wind. Like the other wind the sails would be at a slight angle, like the ones you have, but these ones are directly towards you.
Well, what do you see, Rook?
I see a white sail on a ship just on the edge of the horizon, bearing towards us, just like what Anna said.
It appears to be moving fast.
It's moving fast. It looks, just the way it's going, to be magically propelled, similar to that other ship we ran
In fact,
across.
Mentioning that other ship, it looks like it's pretty far, but it does look very similar, if not the same.
It could be the exact same ship or a similar one.
Now, also,
Where's Anna right now?
she's down in the galley, still scratching into the floor. With that 28 near natural 20 plus a bunch of bonuses, you also make out, as you're talking to Gex, just a little flicker of white. Probably, it's hard, probably about a half mile, pretty high up, almost directly off your starboard. You can see a small shape way up in the air.
They have a bird on us.
How far out? Can I see it if I look?
Yeah,
where
once
it's
he
at?
points it out, you can see it. It's a big bird, but it is pretty far away. So right now it looks like a small white flying thing, pretty high up in the sky. It's about half a mile. It seems to be doing a slow loop around, and you watch it for a while and you see it loops around almost it looks like if it keeps on track from where you're going, it appears to be finishing a loop, as though it's come from well behind in an elliptical kind of loop, looping way back, and then retreat, kind of comes out in this long oblong, would probably pass pretty close above the ship, and then back again. That's what you can track with your almost nat 20. It will pass close to the ship at one point.
How close might it get? And with my best estimation,
Go ahead and
based on
do
its current course.
either perception or intelligence, and you have advantage because of Rook doing such a good job spotting it.
18.
Oh, that's pretty damn good. All right, you can estimate this thing will probably come within less than 100 feet from the mast as it does a loop around. It looks like it'll either loop slightly behind or slightly in front of the mast. Probably, if you were up there, probably less than 50 feet away.
Hey, my familiar's around still, so I'm gonna command it to intercept it.
Nice. Okay. And
Like they can't technically attack each other, but I can cast a spell through it, so I might just do that.
all right. Now, if your familiar gets beyond 100 feet from you, it can't take new commands, just so you know.
Yeah,
it'll
that's why I
carry
was
out the
curious how
command and then
far
come
away.
back. Yeah.
I'm
No,
gonna
that-
climb up the mast to like the crow's nest and then hide.
Nice. If you take your time doing it, I won't make you roll any checks. If you're in a hurry, you do acrobatics
No,
or athletics.
I'm gonna take my time. I've also gauged that it's gonna come within like 50 to 100, and I'm just
Absolutely.
going to get ready to ambush it.
Okay, nice. So you get into place, Gex. You issue instructions to your familiar, and the sea eagle. That was my whistle. That was a weak whistle. There we go. That's a little better. Hilda, you're kind of aware of what's going on up top. Anything you want to be doing?
Well, I guess my primary concern would be maybe heading down to the galley and just discussing out the situation with Anna.
Sure.
Maybe advise her. Keep
Cool.
low.
How about you, Tillman?
Just to get some awareness. So, are most of the crew like pretty healthy, or do I have somebody still recuperating in the sick bay that I need to go check on, make sure everything's good, or?
Most of the crew handled the attack. Either they got killed, like poor Garrick, or some of them got a little banged up, but nobody's too bad. Tammy definitely got the worst of it when that powder keg went off. And she definitely is healing. She's just still pretty bruised and battered, and enough to manage to basically stay out of the way. And she's following the captain's orders, but she's feeling better since Hilda said that. You happen to just want to check in on the crew, and you come into this one area, and there she is, as she's kind of unwinding the bandage from around her shell. And she looks up at you as you walk in, and she's like,
Oh, hi.
Hey man, don't think you should be taking out the bandage just yet. He's still healing.
Is that your professional opinion?
Hey, I'm just letting you know, man. But you never were one to listen, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Well, I know what that feels like.
History over here. Oof.
Are you serious about... I know we have to get away, but... I've heard things. Old tales, and usually we just laugh them off, but... A few people I trust have talked about the frontier spin before. They say that entire ships can pass through unscathed. But once in a while, the whole crew, or a few castaways, they're just gone. Other times, rumors of ships just disappearing for years, only to come back as though no time at all has passed. And then this old sailor once told me, and I don't know if it was the goblins, reminded me, the no lights. He said, no lights, no spark, Hold on. I'll kiss your arse goodbye. I don't know what it meant, but that's what he told me. Mind you, he was a crazy old drunk, so what do I know? I got great taste in men.
And she thumps you on the shell.
Yeah, man, thanks.
You seem to have done all right for yourself, though.
Can't complain, man. Learning each day.
Well, whatever it is you're searching for and you're wondering, I hope you find it.
Me too.
Now get it.
But hey.
I have to change. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Hey, I know we're gonna go through this and a lot of legends abound of it, but you know, it's an adventure. It's our chance to dispel it or confirm it if we make it through it.
If we do.
You gotta look at the positive. You gotta look at the positive.
Most of the time,
Oh, and
you're the most positive person I know. Most of the time.
by the way, there's a ship chasing us. I'll let you get changed.
There's a what?
And you you close the door.
Just boom.
Nice. All right, Isolde. Whereabouts are you? Where are you keeping yourself at the moment?
I feel like because technically she should be asleep. She's not. She's a little wired, especially after that whole thing. So I feel like she'd be up on the deck, and because she had the lookout taken away from her, she's looking for something to do frantically. Boasting that she's ready to do anything.
Mostly the crew's like, all right, get out of that way. Asking you to move a bucket here and that kind of thing. It's, yeah, generally you're just kind of underfoot. But there was something about that below when the sea hag, especially when she gathered up the bits and especially with Tillman, when she did that little scratch, just kind of resonates. All right. Rook, whereabouts are you hanging out? Oh, you're muted, dude.
Oh, yeah.
I am in the crow's nest,
Oh, right. Sorry, I
laying in
forgot about
ambush.
that. Nice. All right, so you're up there, and Hilda, you go down, and you see the sea hag pretty much in regular human form, sitting cross-legged, just kind of rocking back and forth ever so slightly, and you kind of get a look at her, and she looks up at. She's looking down at one point, just kind of doodling on the floor. And she looks up, and you can you see just a little shape, as though these little scratches and etches of ichor and blood in the ground, and in the deck on the wood. You can count these little stick figure looking things with like little different eyes, and some of them have hair. And as you kind of look over, and she hasn't noticed you yet, you see one of the little stick figures that she's drawn has nice long red hair, a little shorter than the rest. And then her head turns, and it's one of those like her head turns further than it probably should, and she looks up at you for a second, and then she blinks, and the eyes are back to normal now. And then she kind of half smiles and kind of half stands up, and she's like, "Oh, what's up?"
Oh. Well,
She's kind of smudging and blocking the little painting that she did.
Well, that was a nice drawing there, I think, before it got smudged. But I wanted to give you a heads up that you might want to lay low for the time being, because we do spot ship.
Okay, thank you. If things go bad, I will put in a good word for you with my mother. If she can find us. If we don't.
Well, let's hope that it doesn't come to that. Thank you.
All right, up on the top deck, a couple things. You can see that bird. It's finishing the long ellipse and is starting to come back. It's just about within, probably about 200 feet away at this point. And as you're going, Tillman, whereabouts? Oh, you were with the navigator kind of area, which is on the aft castle. Rook, you're up on the top. Anybody on the top deck right now? Do a perception check for me.
That would include me?
Yeah, definitely.
$22.
22 from Rook, 9 from what was it? 9 from from Isolde, 16 from Tillman. Okay, and 14 from Gex. Okay, so Rook, you have that overhead view, and you're mostly watching the bird getting ready, readying your arrows, and then you're kind of cast your eyes around, just taking in the horizon for a second, and you see almost directly in front of the ship, the water, at probably about 500 feet ahead or something. There's something. It's like the water doesn't look quite right. And with a 22, there's something, it's almost like you're seeing through the water and see more air underneath in this one section, about 500 feet ahead and just ever so slightly to the port.
Okay. How far up am I?
About 50 feet.
50 feet? If I yell, is it noisy? Like if I yell down, can they hear me clearly?
Oh yeah. The
Okay.
lookouts yell down.
I yell down like object ahead, 500 feet.
Okay.
Move around it.
Yeah, you point it out.
Yeah.
Gex, you can, from this angle, you can barely see it. It's almost like a little line of silver in the water, but it would be deep below the water at this point. So it's just, if he hadn't pointed it out, you would have just thought it was glint off the sunlight. And you're taking this in. That bird is now about 120 feet away, as it's moving pretty quick. In about a few seconds, about 6 seconds, that's going to come within range. What do you want to do?
Okay, so yeah, commanding familiar to go attack it. Lock your claws with it.
All right.
Anything.
I'm going to get you to. I know familiars can't attack internet. Don't get mad at me. But I need you to roll an attack as your eagle so that it can make contact. And we'll see how it goes.
What am I rolling exactly then?
A d20 and then add, I think it's probably like Dex +3, and I guess, yeah, we'll add, so +5. So d20 +5.
Well,
It's not really proficient at attacking, so actually d20 +3. Whatever the dex of an eagle is. I'm assuming it's 16.
sure. 22.
Damn! All right, so you see this white albatross bird, and up close, it's actually quite big. It's even bigger than your sea eagle, and your sea eagle just apparates into existence on this plane, like 30 feet away from you, or 30 feet away from it, and just swoops in like almost like a small sparrow type bird going after a big crow. It's outmatched, but it just dive bombs at it. They make contact. And what are you going to cast?
Oh, I'm going to inflict ye old wounds upon it.
Inflict ye old wounds, good sir.
Okay, let's see how this goes.
I guess I'll follow
Yeah.
up with a sneak attack.
Yeah, make your roll.
Yeah. That was a 19.
Damn.
And then the old damage would be
Have to do a con save or something?
21 damages.
Honestly, I don't really remember inflict wounds very well.
Oh, I can pull it up. Inflict wounds. On a hit, the target takes 3d10 necrotic damage.
Yeah, so that's a hit, and that's a lot of damage. Oh damn, Rook.
Oh, damn.
Oh, wow.
That's a natural 20 for
That's a crit
28
hit on a sneak attack.
on a
So-
sneak attack.
so-
Go ahead and roll them dice. Happens simultaneously. The eagle hits and the arrow.
Okay.
I'll just sit back for this one. I think they got it. But I do have my short bow out.
So essentially, if it's hit points reach net 0, it's done for the
Yep,
day.
Bamfs.
Yeah, no damage, obviously, to the mage, but the familiar's gone.
That is 31 points on 8d6. Holy
Wow.
crap. And how much was the inflict wounds again there, Steve?
21.
Okay, so that is 52 points of damage to the familiar that had 4 hit points.
Did it just like explode into like a puff of feather?
It
And
And it
it
rained
And it
down?
explodes and then implodes. It's this weird, like, just feathers, and then they all just go back, and there's this pinpoint of light, and somewhere on a ship, a mage gets just a massive headache. It was that
Yeah,
severe.
he at least needs to roll to resist psychological trauma.
Roll for psychological trauma. You know what? I back that. I back that. Let me roll. Oh, he doesn't give a damn about that bird. He rolled a 19. He resisted emotional damage. There you go. Cue the the meme. Anyway, so that familiar is done. At that exact moment,
I've seen that happen.
Tillman and Isolde, you notice, because you're not watching the bird as much, you look down towards where that glitter in the water is, and there's a bulge as the water begins 400 feet across in this massive bulge of water. Now is 5 feet above, like the meniscus of the water, as though something big was coming up. Just, it's bulging up towards almost, it's 5 feet up right now and growing. And it's this massive, in the middle, you see these little jets spraying water 30, 40 feet into the air. It's now about 300 feet in front of you and slightly off to the port. And it's approaching, or you're approaching it very quickly.
Can I, at this moment, when I see this, like, does my insight, or kind of like my maybe passive insight or whatever, tell me this is danger?
Oh, yes. Every instinct you
Okay.
have, you're fascinated. I mean, it's almost like watching a car wreck in slow motion. You're just like,
Right.
so what do you want to do? Are you going to freeze? Are you going to do
I'm
something?
gonna. Oh, sorry, I did that twice for some reason. I didn't roll it, but it just when I looked at the thing. So I'm going to, with my short bow, I'm going to, when I pick it up, as I kind of grip around the handle, I'm gonna just quickly prick my finger, and I'll do 5 damage to myself. And I am now able to inflict additional damage.
Nice.
And
Is there a
my
particular
weapon
type?
is now magic.
Nice.
Storm. So it is lightning damage.
All right. Sparky. All right.
Very cool.
All right.
Yeah.
Hilda.
I
it's
guess, a little spark comes out of it, Just for embellishment.
Hilda, you start to walk away from Anna down below, and she, as you're starting to walk, there's a hand grips your arm really strongly. The fingers wrap around the arm, and you turn back to her, and then she's pulling her hand back, but she's a good 15 feet away again, and she's just like,
You remind me of someone. In my first time through, we hags, we travel. Sometimes we're born. Sometimes we are made. I was called here from the depths of hells. I don't want to go back. But if I go, I'll return. Do you think you'll return? If it goes bad?
Well, some religions do believe in reincarnation.
and she smiles.
Like,
Alright.
this is all flying over Hilda's head. She's like, she did not take philosophy in university.
The best thing you
Like,
have is
cool.
you had a professor who was like trying to teach people bedside manner. And like you're just like, okay. All right, Tillman, what are you doing?
What am I doing?
You were up in the
Yeah, so
aft
I
castle.
see. Yeah, so when I see the water coming and
You were just coming out of the cabin and looking out towards, and you see this going on. You see everybody else on the deck. Some of them looking up at the bird. What do you do?
all right, well, I relayed the information about the water wall, if you will. 300 meters in the distance, to, just in case nobody else noticed.
Does anybody else
And-
see that man?
Yeah, man, you got some water coming at us pretty quickly from insert side here.
You can all feel it starting to shake the ship a little bit.
I have a bad feeling about this, bro.
So when Rook shouted that there was a thing over there, the person manning the tiller just kind of pretended not to hear that.
He heard it, but he's not really sure what to do. He's kind of looking at it like,
How far away are we from it now?
it's
Like, are
about
we right in it?
250.
Dude, veer to starboard.
Starts to turn and the whole ship just lists. A couple of the crew start adjusting the sails and so on, and the rest of you are ready. And you look back and you see the maid ship. You can recognize it now. It does appear to be the same one, and it is closing fast. It's probably about maybe like maybe 2 kilometers or less away at this point, and closing quickly, but they seem to be kind of veering ever so slightly to the starboard.
Hey, I think it's time we set in motion the crazy plan. I think it is time. So I'm gonna get Lek and the crazy old dude that almost shot the cannon.
Oh, that guy's dead. Sorry.
I thought he died.
Okay. I think of him and a tear rolls down my cheek.
Big octopus killed him.
Yeah. You,
And Lek looks up and is like,
you.
sorry, sir. He's dead.
Okay, Lek, listen. You and 3 other guys take that lifeboat there, take that spare sail there, take those 3 barrels of powder there, put the powder in the lifeboat, drop the lifeboat down, put the sail over top of all of it so it hides it, and then you tie a rope to the bow of that, and you to the lifeboat, bow of the lifeboat, and then you tie the other end of the rope to the stern of the boat, and you let it out 100, 120 feet. All right?
He starts taking notes to be like, oh, all right.
Can you handle that?
I answer.
And now here's the point, Lek. That rope's got to be tied at both ends. That thing's got to go, that lifeboat needs to be trailing behind. Those barrels need to be disguised. And they need to be just within arrow shot. Are we clear on that?
Oh, yes, sir. I'll do my best, sir. Isolde,
Get
you
going.
overheard that too, so I don't know if you want to assist or...
Yeah. Yeah, I will. I will
Lek looks around the
definitely
little
assist.
halfling, and he's like, oh, go on.
Isolde, do you want to throw a couple of cannonballs in the back of that boat just for fun? By all means.
Okay.
All right. So you guys set about rigging up
Yeah,
the
cannon.
SS Explodo. And you
It's the S-Explode. S-Explode.
That's SS Explode. Roger, sir. Okay. So Isolde, I'm gonna get you to roll a. Do you have sleight of hand? Or tinkering?
I do.
All right, I'll let you roll either one of those to see how well you rig this little rowboat to be a blowboat.
Okay, let's see how I do. I've been rolling like shite, so
Well, so you're
There's
due.
no consequence at all for failing this roll.
Hey,
Just
pretty
saying.
all right. Pretty all right.
All right, 15. Okay, good. All right.
Pretty good for me tonight.
And you're all starting to load this thing in, and the ship is now running sort of parallel to the large, bulge in the water. It's now at least 10 feet across, and towards the center, 10 feet high off the water, and it begins to just roil. You see those bubbles just... And it's about 250 feet away on the port side, as you're now steering kind of along the edge of it to skirt around it. Along the circumference. And this thing seems to roil for a few seconds. And I'm going to get Tillman. Do either intelligence or perception. Your call.
Todd, while he's doing that, would you let me, as part of that kind of sleight of hand or whatever, create some type of something that looks like a person in this? So it looks like
You're damn right I
with
do.
some of my disguise.
Absolutely.
stuff.
Go ahead and roll a disguise roll for me as well.
I feel like I have like one of those, mannequin heads or, to hold hats.
Hilda, you
a
come up
hat
at about
head.
this time and you see Isolde kind of down over the side, the rope ladder, the bobbing in the waves next to this thing. And you see Lek down there and one other person. You're just kind of taking it all in. And okay, so everybody's kind of available on the top deck. How'd you do there, Tillman?
15.
15. All right. You take in, you see them lowering these barrels of this flash powder, the gunpowder stuff that badly injured Tammy earlier, and they're lowering it down, and you see Isolde there, and she kind of slings her crossbow over her shoulder, the edge of the actual bolt of it, literally zapping a little bit with sparks.
It's actually a short bow, but
Oh,
yeah.
sorry, short bow. But the arrow that you were holding is there just crackling away behind her as she's pouring the powder around and putting the mannequin hat on.
Oh no.
How fast can you paper mache?
She's actually pretty good at it.
How
This
good is
is-
your soap art?
Macaroni art?
I really want a picture of what you make with this. That'd be amazing. As there's just I picture almost the art from the Mitchells versus the Machine, the badly drawn face on the helmet.
It's got the really crude drawing of a face, right? But it's got the smile and then a little tongue hanging down. It's bad.
Nice. All right. Tillman, there's something. You sense something is very, very wrong. And you're just like, wait. And you look over. You look down at them, setting up the blowboat. And then you look over up at everybody else. And then you look over towards the bulging water. And you see in the middle of, like, almost 500-600 feet away, maybe more, this rise, and then the water sprays and bursts, and all of a sudden it goes, and everyone sees this massive spray kick up into the air about 200 feet away over there, and then the water just comes raining down and falls below the surface, and the whole ship just starts to go as the whole thing just starts to slide sideways as this massive bubble has burst about 200 feet away from the ship. It's probably 500 feet across, this huge aquan bubble. And once it's burst, it's released in the air, and there's this super sour stench. And it even begins to burn your eye. Everybody's noticing this now. The burning of your eyes, and this hissing sound, and this stench of, like, just awful stench in the air as this thing happens. What do you want to do?
I wouldn't have recognized the effects or anything, or like how to treat it.
The closest thing you've encountered to like this is, honestly, kind of reminds you of farting in the bathtub. But, like, on a massive scale.
Oh no. Can we perceive there's something underneath the waves that made that?
You're like, what? Now the whole ship is listing heavily to the port side, and it's not just the ship. The water is all just starting to flow down in that direction, and it begins to corkscrew the closer it gets to where the center of this bubble was, which is a pretty big gap right down, probably 100 feet below the surface of where the surface was, and the whole thing just begins to corkscrew like a drain. And I'm gonna need everybody to do a dexterity saving throw. And Gex, you're the closest to the tiller, so I'm gonna make you do a sailing check because you are proficient in sailing vessels.
There you go. Okay.
Ooh.
So 23 on the sailing water vehicles check.
Nice.
And 14 on the dexterity saving throw.
Okay. All right. Let me check. Okay, so Tillman, with a 4, you go careening across the deck. You were near the entrance, and you go hit the side of the rail. I need you to actually. He goes flailing past, and with that low roll, I'm sorry, dude. With a 4, you're going overboard. Just ass over tea kettle. You can. Sorry,
Wasn't Tillman by me though?
He's close, yeah. Do you want to do
With my 25, can I try to?
Sure. You
grab
see him going by, and you're like, he's a big dude, but you're quick, and there are ropes all over this thing. So you just you could try to loop him with a rope, lasso him. Yeah, it's not even that fancy. It's just like get a rope around him before he goes.
Right.
So go ahead and do,
I'll do
a rope handling check, which in this case I guess will just be a dexterity. And you know what? You've been on a ship for a while. I'll say you're proficient.
Like a sleight of hand?
Sure. Yeah.
Can Hilda help with this? Because I think I'm in like the same area.
You were
like either sleight of hand or like an athletics or something, or
either one of those. you're trying to loop him fast, or you
I'll
can
do
just grab
sleight.
onto him and try not to be dragged overboard.
I'll do the sleight of hand because I'm better at.
All right.
Why is
And
it
Hilda,
not
you can do something
running?
here too, as you see Tillman go flying past. His shell hits and his feet flip up.
24.
Okay.
Okay.
I assist with the grabbing of the rope because I'm pretty sure at the velocity that this Tortle is going, we're gonna need some strength.
Absolutely. So you grab the other end of the rope that Isil just looped around Tillman's ankle as he went over the side. And do a strength check for me, please. Gex, meanwhile, you with your 23, you managed to just heave the tiller, so you're actually like managing to pilot it slightly, not out. You can't go directly out of this corkscrewing water, this whirlpool as it swirls, but you know you're keeping it on a slightly diagonal course, trying to just go against the flow of the water. The wind is helping, and you manage to catch the wind and just try to ride it. You're holding steady and not descending backwards, and the back of the boat kind of swings heavily around at one point, and you just spin it the other way before you end up being kicked into a spin. So you're managing to keep it piloting and ever so slightly approaching the outer edge of this massive whirlpool. So well done on that. By the way, in that effort, the wheel kind of kicks out of your hand for a few seconds and you grab onto it again, but in the process, it bashes you pretty good. You take 6 points of bludgeoning damage. You didn't quite make your deck save. Obviously, Tillman didn't make his deck save. When you hit the deck, by the way, Tillman, you took 6 points of bludgeoning damage. Everybody else made their save. I think, Gordon, you got a 14 as well. So you're going to... actually, Gordon, I'm going to need you to do an acrobatics check for me, sir.
Okay. Not 2031.
Holy crap. So you
Wow.
get, when the boat shook, the crow's nest acted almost like a fulcrum, like just like a lever, and you just go, whoa! But as you go out, you grab this rope and just hold on, and it spools out. Just, you go a good 15 feet out of it, and then rope goes taut, and you go, swing down, and you're just doing the classic pirate pinion, like pendulum, down, and you grab on, and it kind of loops around one of the booms. You grab on and just hold on tight and land on the top of one of the booms, just like Spider-Man style, standing on one of the sails. A couple of the crewmen go "Ah!" splash or hit the deck below, doing from that height. That's gonna be like, yeah, they're dead. A couple of the other crewmen who were up in the rigging just flung out either into the water or pumpkin smashed on the deck below. But you, sir, managed to Spider-Man that shit effectively. All right. The ship is currently not being sucked into the vortex. What do you want to do?
Well,
Make sure we don't go into the vortex.
you shout as the waves are just like 5 feet below your head there, Carl, dangling by your ankle.
Anybody got spells like to get wind? Something?
Yeah, there's not really much we can do but sail right now. I mean, how far is that ship behind us?
It's probably now maybe a kilometer, maybe half a kilometer, and they are turning. Well, actually, you can't even see them right now. Sorry, because you're below the edge of this whirlpool. So you look back, and where you saw them is about a kilometer back. But you can't see them.
Yeah, the last time we laid eyes on them, they weren't that far away.
No, and they were closing pretty quickly. Now
Yeah,
you
just gonna start shouting to man the cannons for sure.
All right. You can all hear this shouting over the wind. Rook, you were able to assist with that roll. You're like, oh, this rope is loose. You loop it off, and the sail catches wind again and fills. It stops luffing at the front. With that nat 20, you're basically jumping from boom to boom, from sail to sail, grabbing this, tightening that, just keeping the sails where they need to be. As Gex is just like steering like a madman. Isolde, you're in the little rowboat. Oh no, you were above. You have already done the rowboat. Right.
I'm back on the deck because I grabbed Tillman.
Isolde, you hear a voice from below. It's not Tillman. You're like, you see Tillman's ankle. You know that he's dangling there, but you hear another voice. Oh my God! Help! Anybody! And then it's kind of lost in the swirl.
Oh no, Black.
No.
Hi, Black.
And you look over, and this by some frickin' miracle, the rowboat isn't. It's behind the sail of the massive sailing ship, just wobbling back and forth on the line in the torrent of this whirlpool that is just sucking back. But the rope is still taut, and he's hanging on to the dummy that you did. He's like, oh my God! Ah, ah.
Oh my God.
That poor fucking half. All right. What do you guys want to do? You can, if you want some ideas, you could wait for that ship to get closer, and maybe you're kind of holding steady and drifting in the swirl sideways. You could try to turn into the curve and scoot out the other side. You could try to get up to the edge of the where the whirlpool is strongest and sail away, kind of off to the starboard. So you could go kind of straight or starboard towards the mate ship. You could go to your port and try to outrace it that way. You could turn around and head into the whirlpool or on the edge of it.
I have, here's my thought on that. We try to exit this thing in such a way that it leaves the maid ship on the opposite side of it from us, so that we're putting the craziness between us and the maid ship.
All right, I'm assuming you're going to be yelling this to Rook. He's basically
Well, I'm
helping.
steering.
Yeah, you're steering,
I think
but
we're
you
working
also have
together on
to
this.
yell to the sails to like help them
Right.
angle. And
Yeah.
he's your rigger right now. He's up there running the sails.
Yes.
He's the only one up there right now.
Yes, I will start yelling much things at people.
All right, do
Ye
a
lad
persuasion
there,
command check, please, sir.
command ye the checking.
While he's yelling orders out, I'm gonna scream to Gex. He's there. Help! What do I do?
Who's where? What?
And I'm pointing to
The Lek in the
what's
in the
his-
rowboat.
Lek.
Like he's
Oh.
in the boat?
God,
He's
Black.
holding on to the mannequin that I made,
Hilda,
Does
go
the
get
mannequin
him.
float?
and he's about 120 feet. You said?
Yeah, he's about 100 feet away, 120 feet dangling on the end.
So okay.
He's dripping wet and just looks like. "Ah!" That's a description.
What do I do? Help me,
here's-
Gex.
Here's Gex in his chaotic neutral. Okay. Pick a die. Gold is one, black is the other. Which one is Lek?
Black.
Lek is black. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. We need to reel him back in.
And she'll just start hand over hand as fast as she can, but she's
I-
not incredibly strong.
I mean, I guess Hilda is gonna help. with
All right.
that.
Thank you.
Hilda starts hauling. Do strength checks, or one of you with advantage.
And I'll shout at him like, when he gets close, he climbs the rope, then you let the boat back out.
I will assist Hilda, as my guess is her strength is probably better than Isolde's.
Am I in any state to go and help out, or?
Carl, I need Tillman to do a hell of a sit-up, because you're still dangling over the edge.
All right. So the answer to that is no. Okay. So that would be.
That's like the meanest thing to make a
athletics
turtle do.
Athletics or what would it
Athletics,
be?
yeah. 17. Nice. So you start to try to get a good handhold to like pull yourself up over the railing, and you're basically your ankles are at the top of the railing, and you can kind of get your arms into at the bottom of the railing, and you start to kind of shimmy your way up. You can't actually bend in the center like most people, so you've got to kind of turn half sideways, and you begin to pull yourself up over. The wind is howling, and there's this rush of water nearby, and you're almost to the top, and then this other hand just, and this other 3-fingered hand grabs yours, and you'll do the forearm grab thing, and you pull up, and Tammy helps you pull you up over the edge, and flop back onto the deck of the ship, and she's like,
Don't make me regret that.
Thanks, Tammy.
all right. Okay. How'd you do on your strength check, Hilda?
So the dirty 20 with the higher rope.
All right. Nice. Okay, you're just heaving end over end. The ship is 75 feet, 50 feet, 25 feet. It's getting really close. Rook, I'm going to need you to do athletics or acrobatics to see how well you can do that, unless you're going to do something else. But Rook, Gex is needing somebody manning the sails.
Okay.
Gex, I'm going to need you to do a ship handling check as well to see how well you can angle this.
14.
All right, you managed to get them in the right direction, more or less, but depends on how Gex is doing with the angles. What was that?
23.
23. Damn, another 23. Okay, so he turns the ship at just the right way, and you lock the rope in, and the wind fills it. Now, did you say you're going across?
I want to, yeah. Well, whichever way puts like, directly away from.
If you're facing, let's say, north, they're coming at you from the east, a little bit southeast, and the whirlpool is almost directly southwest of you.
So we'd be going northwest.
So if you go northwest, you can skirt the edge of the whirlpool in hopes of coming out the opposite side. If you go directly west, you're going in.
No, I will kind of like, do a little...
The orbital slingshot bullshit thing you do that people do? All right, you do the trig in your head, and you're like, okay, Plus the angles of the wind make this a mess as you angle the ship. But with...
Yeah. This is the ship that did the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs. So,
it is now. Yeah, the bullship. Bullship. I call bull.
I get a Star Wars quote in there sometime.
on this the day, absolutely. You kind of wait for the last second and make a hard turn. Everyone lists the other way and goes sliding, just about grabbing Lek way down in the bottom as like Hilda's pulling up, and he's grabbed the rope. He's starting to climb, and he goes swinging back the other way, barely holding on, just screaming, "Oh, never should have left the ship!" And the ship just everything creaking. The ropes start like almost snapping, and just out the other side, and you begin to clear the whirlpool, and this ship begins to like. You look back, and it just gets this smaller, tighter spin just behind you. As you look, you now have time to look towards this thing, and there's a point where it's this probably maybe 30-foot wide circle, almost perfectly black circle, as the water hits it. The spin of the water, like a bathtub drain, just reaches this funnel-like thing and just pivots right down. It's about 30 feet wide at the base, probably about almost 100 feet away behind you now. As you come out the other side, you can do a perception check for me. Anybody who's not super busy, we'll say Rook and Tillman. Gex, you're too busy trying to steer, so not you. And the other two are rescuing Lek. So just Rook and Tillman.
Jesus Christ.
17.
Bella, I'm sharing your rolls.
Spread the turds around.
But the bandits?
All right, with a 17 though, Rook, and you're up high. You're holding the mast at this point, and you look behind you, and you can just make out the mage sails on the opposite side, and they've been tracking towards this whirlpool until it burst, and then they begin to veer hard to the starboard, and they're keeping a distance of at least, at this point, probably a kilometer, maybe 1,200 meters away, like way back on the far side, and you can just make them out amongst this tumult, and you can see the roiling clouds, and it's just a bit of a mess between you and them, and you have definitely cleared that distance. They are on the almost clock
Other
face
side.
opposite.
So they're actually not close to us.
Not anymore. You guys are putting on the distance at this point.
I'll just yell down, like, full speed.
All right.
We have time to make a break for it. They're harried.
All right. So I'm going to get one more ship handling check. And Hilda and Isolde, I need you to do either athletics or acrobatics.
Right, and we're releasing the boat back.
Yeah.
Out.
$16.
16? Pretty good.
12.
12? All right. So the 16, you're pulling, you've almost lifted him out of the water, actually, as the front of the boat is now pretty tight against the hull of your ship. And Lek is busy trying to scale this rope, being like, that's what I got if I get out of this. I would never ever do anything wrong again in my entire life. And then he gets up to the one stop and he starts to slip. And Isolde, you just grab him by the tuft of the back of his shoulder and just pull him into the ship. And Hilda, you let the rope go and the pulls down and the blowboat begins to bob behind you again. All right. You have successfully skirted around a close encounter with one of the dangers of the frontier spin. At this point, Tillman and Tammy are sitting there. She's just like,
Oh, well, that's what's at the middle. Oh,
Tillman, you got a 15 before. And what Tammy, maybe it's Tammy being so close, you get the reminder of what that old sailor had said.
no flame, no sparks.
Something about that seems interesting to you.
Like, don't use flame, no sparks. That how I wouldn't.
There's this really
Interpret or-
strong stench in the air still from when the bubble that kind of bulged up through the surface, causing this depression in the water, hanging above, just kind of filling around. And you blink your eyes, you can see a vague haze kind of hovering over the whirlpool and in the surrounds.
Most TPK.
Right, guys, don't use any fire or lightning. I don't know what effect it's gonna have on this haze, but it's not looking good.
And you look
That's
back,
everything I got.
you see you're like holding the bow now, and you see the little rowboat with the little mannequin. bobbing, like probably about 100, maybe almost 200 feet behind you. Probably about 100 feet out of this whirlpool edge. And Lek kind of walks up to Gex. He's like, I would like to register a complaint. Where is the captain?
Lek, I'm with you, buddy, but we got bigger problems right now. We need to put out all the flames on the boat. Lamps, lanterns, candles, everything.
Oh,
So
all right.
I'm gonna start running around and looking at all that stuff. And
So you run away from the tiller and Lek grabs it. He's like, oh,
oh no, actually, anything I can see from the tiller, I can put out via prestidigitation. I can.
You look around and
Snuff out.
it was only a little after dinner time at this point, so you still got a couple hours of daylight. So there were no lanterns. I mean, they're hanging there, ready to be lit. You're kind of glance around, and all of your eyes settle on Isolde's short bow, and one of the arrows that she's got in a quiver is busy sparking away. Just
Isolde, put that spark out right now. Douse it.
Fine.
And she's about to do this, and Rook, you're up on the mast looking, and you can now clearly see the other ship is now starting to turn towards the whirlpool, and it looks like they're maybe they're gonna try to do the skirting trick that you guys just did. They seem to be kind of pivoting around, and you can see, because you're looking almost directly astern at this point, you see your little blowboat bobbing back there, and then the whirlpool, and then the other sailboat is now starting to kind of try to skirt around a little bit more of a distance than what you guys had. It's right about now, it's just entering kind of the hazy area.
So just as a role player's question, when my cantrip says it has a range / area of 10 feet, that means I can't cast it any farther away from myself than 10 feet?
Unfortunately not, no.
Yeah, not just making sure.
It does look like that ship is going to try some kind of maneuver to see if they can follow you.
Well,
We almost have-
no, this is good. Yeah, Isolde needs to stay right where she is, ready to spark that thing back up again. Because as soon as those guys get into the area where we're not supposed to have sparks, we need to put sparks into the area where there should be no sparks.
All right.
As long as we're also
I don't
out
know.
here.
There's like gas everywhere. We smell
Yeah.
it here. It could light us up.
It's
Like-
considerably less where you are. It was stronger when you were in the vortex, but you had bigger problems.
Remember the blackberries.
Right. The blackberry bush.
We need to be just, on the edge.
It literally reminds me of when that.
There's a difference
So
between
quick.
being on the edge of death and in the middle of death.
The white ship is now entering skirting around the edge of the vortex, trying to keep up with you. You're about probably like 900 meters away at this point, maybe a little less.
So, based on my insane craziness judgment here, are they in the area of
Do a
death?
perception check. We'll see if you can. All right. Yep, tastes like sulfur.
Nat 20 for 21.
So
They
can I? Sorry.
with a nat 20. Oh, sorry, Hilda. What do you want to do?
I guess I wanted to just do a check to see if the haze around us was going to be enough.
Sure.
also
I'll
do
let you do a
damage.
perception check as well.
Well, that's not going to be too much. 8. 8.
Hard to tell. The
Nope.
wind is blowing pretty hard right now.
Yeah.
All right. Gex, it does appear that they appear to be entering the thickest part of it, right about the far edge of it. And judging by, you were a bit busy. So, like, if you had to guess, they're entering the far end of it, and you guys are just exiting kind of the thick of it, as it were.
Hey, and how far away are they from us?
They're about 800 meters or so, 8 or 900 meters, and your little sailboat is, or 8 or 900 feet, I'm sorry. And your little sailboat, is about that far away, and your little rowboat is about 200 feet behind.
The rowboat's about 200 feet behind.
Yeah, the blowboat is back there.
Okay. Now's the time. Shoot the fiery arrows into the wee boat.
Oh no. I think Bella had to step away to, like, get the dogs under control. This is her moment, man.
It has to be done. It has to be done.
Pulls out the bow, and she's just like trying to light the spark again. She's like,
No, I'm going to do it. Prestidigitation. I'm going to light the spark. Enter.
I think you needed blood to do this.
Yeah. So that's not going to work, because she's just like, Rook, you have a good line from up there, unless somebody else wants to do something.
No, I'm going to light her arrow for her. I can do it magically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll a percentile dice for me.
Percent, so what, a D100?
Yep.
Man.
Don't roll under
74.
Okay, good. All right. There's the little flame you light seems to flare a little more than you're used to, but you're kind of okay right now. You're just like, ooh. Okay. Her arrow is lit. All right.
Fire away.
Anything else anybody wants to do?
Might act as backup in case she misses.
Sure. Well, unfortunately, she stepped away, so let's get... who wants to make the roll? Or should I roll on her behalf?
Maybe you should roll on her behalf. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. She did it. Say she needed a little break there. All right. She draws back, looks at Gex a little, like just checking in. He gives the nod. She tilts up, lets it fly. Okay. I had trouble reading that dice. That is. Oh, she's back. I saw her. We'll let her roll. That's even more fun. All right.
Bella,
I'm back. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
I have relit your arrow for you. Fire at the little boat. Shoot it with your arrow now.
Okay.
Action now.
So it's 200 feet away, yeah?
Yeah. So that'll be with disadvantage for a short bow.
Yeah, it will. Yeah, it will.
Anybody able to give her a hand of some kind?
Emotional
Anybody
support.
want to hold me steady?
Oh yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that.
I'm functional
I
now, right?
lift you.
What was that, Carl?
So I'm functional. I'm on my feet.
Yeah. You're not too far away
You
from all
want to
this.
give me some, I don't know, guidance?
That wouldn't help, but a bless would.
No?
I'll cast bless.
Nice. All right. Boom. This little sparkle of twilight stars just glimmers around you for just a second. You get a D4.
All right, so...
You could technically give away those D4s to other people if you want there, Carl.
Well, I bless everybody that's around me 30 feet.
Nice. All right. And
So still disadvantage though, right, Todd?
still with disadvantage.
So that's a 13 plus. Come on, D4. 15.
15. to hit a
I was
station.
wishful thinking for a 3.
All right, Okay. The arrow goes arcing up and comes down, and you can see the rowboat right there, and just we're on the extreme edge of range, and the arrow hits just next to it. You needed a 16. I'm sorry. As everyone's like,
All right. Can I take my second attack then?
sure, but your arrow
'Cause I
isn't
get
lit
2.
anymore.
I can light it.
Would lightning do the trick?
You can certainly try.
I'm going to prick my finger again and enable.
There's your bonus action.
That's my bonus, yeah.
There you go.
I gotta
code
take
it.
my damage. Hold on. Whoops. Regular roll. So I take 5 more damage.
Blood
Oh,
is just
Jesus
streaming down
Christ.
your one hand as you pull back the short bow.
Yeah,
You're
and
now about 100,
you
220 feet. No, the boat's staying even with you. Anyway, go for it.
did you relight it as well?
No.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Well, unfortunately,
I don't
that's
know
the next turn.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
so
can't.
I will just try it with the
Just the spark.
lightning.
All right, make your roll.
With my. Hopefully, my blood or my crimson right will help. So let's try this again. And
Oh.
okay, plus. Let me see. Come on, D4, give me a 18.
This time the arrow strikes up in the air, and this reddish sparks are just off the arrow as it streaks through the sky, and then begins its downward arc towards the little rowboat. And just, you're all holding your breath, and just, it hits the boat. And there's this little shudder. And then just, boom! As the entire powder keg of the blowboat that you did just goes up, and like you just see for a second illuminated against this the little drawn face of the mannequin, just hey! And then just boom, and there's this smallish explosion of the boat. Just you see the 3 powder kegs go off in a pretty sizable boom, but you're pretty far away. And then all of a sudden the flames go out and then begin to grow. Instead of getting smaller, they get bigger. And then it just climbs outward in this streak of fire out in all directions. You see it streaking towards you as well, as the whole thing just goes. And there's this sucking sensation as all the air, and the wind even dies down for a second, as all the air kind of gets sucked backwards towards it for a second. And then immediately in the opposite direction, there's a shockwave. I'm going to need everybody to do a dexterity saving throw, please.
My favorite.
Oh. Oh, that's not happening.
Huh?
Oh, wait. No, that's a. Sorry.
Oh, I have my. Do I have my
Oh, wait. I'm blessed,
D4?
right? I can do a D4.
Do I have my D4 for that? Yeah, the bless.
Yep. It's a saving throw.
And
Oh, thank God. Okay.
In fact, anyone near
Everybody. Yeah.
Hilda would get a bonus from her charisma.
Oh,
Anyone
that's
with
so
it.
that's an 18 for me.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah,
Oh.
that's true.
Isel,
Plus, what's the bonus?
Like
My
a charisma
bonus
modifier.
Not that.
all right. So
Hold on.
Till-
I'm reading.
Tillman managed a 19 on his dex save. Bella also got a total of what was that, 18 or 19, I think, plus what Hilda's doling
18
out.
plus whatever Hilda has, yeah.
Yeah. Gex managed a 20. Rook up on the mast up there, hanging on, managed a 15. And you all just ride this explosion of shockwave as the boat just gets kicked from behind and forced forward, and you're all just hanging on. You all feel that same push as you ride that shockwave forward, and it's just sailing farther away from this swiftly collapsing whirlpool, which is in the center of this almost small mushroom cloud-looking explosion. Now allow me to do a slight damage roll. This is probably the most damage roll I've ever done in D&D. That's what 24 D20s look like. Just saying.
Only 24, eh?
275 points of damage to everything inside the radius of the explosion. Now, the good news, you were on the outskirts of this. I'm going to say you get, as a ship, it does take damage, but it's only going to take 1/8 of the damage.
Blackberry.
Also, everyone who successfully saved. What is 1/8 of 275? As
Still
everybody
a lot.
reaches for their calculators.
Yeah. 34.
Okay, so everyone on board takes 34 points of damage. Yikes. But the ship itself did also manage to get only 34 points of damage, most of which is applied to the rigging, which starts with 75 points of damage, of hit points. So it is badly damaged, and Rook, you are tossed around. You managed to stay on, but it's a good thing you were holding that rope, and like you get just flung around, and it takes you a while to pinwheel yourself around, and you get bashed by all that bludgeoning force damage as this thing just exploded. The explode is no more.
Just so, and I'm assuming because I was closest to it, I am. What you all see is just blood coming out of everywhere. I'm in bad shape. I'm in real bad shape.
All right, I'm gonna cast Mass Healing Word.
That's good.
D&D speak. I've got 8 hit points left.
Yeah, because I forgot you've been hurting yourself this whole time.
I took 10 damage to myself.
Yeah.
Right? From my blood magic.
Let me roll for the heal because it's...
Guys, I'm gonna peace out.
No worries, man. You managed to survive the blast and
to see you,
wind your way down. Good to see you there, Gordon.
Yeah, see you next week.
All right.
Gordon.
So, as your crew begins to expire, Tillman quickly sends out the prayer of healing there, or the mass healing word, managing to stabilize anybody who looked a mess, including poor Lek, who was just like flattened against the steering wheel and just lumped down, and he's starting to lose. And then Tillman sends out the pulse of boom of the healing.
How much did I heal?
5.
5 points of healing, which is enough to stabilize your crew that had been dropped below to 0. I will say. So thankfully,
did
nobody
you do
dies.
2 of them?
No. When I pressed cast, it did it automatically, but then I thought it just rolled 1d4, which it probably did because it's supposed to be 3d4 plus 3. So, anyways, I rolled again and it wasn't great. Well,
actually,
So-
if it's
Hold on.
3d4, you still
No.
need to roll 1 more d4.
Yeah.
oh,
So
okay.
it's
yeah.
And
actually
it wouldn't
9
be 5
points so
healing,
far.
it would be 9, yeah.
And
No,
then
exactly. Yeah. So okay,
gotta roll one more.
d4. So 9, 11 plus 3, 14.
All right, so everybody gets 14 points of healing back as the cleric just raises his voice, and there's this calming twilight, and you're actually sailing into as you begin to turn your way towards the west. You look behind you, and there is just this wreck. You see the white sails all tossed akimbo, and the mast has been splintered. Their ship is still floating, but it was midway across, and you can see it starting to be drawn into the maelstrom of that whirlpool, and it's just drifting in. And you all look behind you and watch as this crippled mage ship is now just starting to get pulled round and round and in, as you all limp away with ragged, torn-ass sails as you make your way west, having successfully escaped by steering in to the blackberries.
You said 13 hit points were recovered?
14.
14. Oh, fantastic. I'm up to 22.
Wow.
I'm less than half.
So,
Gex just looks at the ship swirling the toilet bowl drain and is like, now that's an adventure.
How much did I heal Tammy for with my lay on hand?
Yeah, that would have been anywhere between 5 and 20 points, I think. It's your choice. Or whatever your paladin level is, times 5 is your max. You don't usually want to dump your max. You want to keep a little reserve. So, you manage... I just need one more sail a ship roll from, I guess, Gex at this point, to see how well you do as you begin to sail westwards towards the setting sun. It's now about 7:30. And you got about half an hour, maybe an hour worth of sunlight before it'll be dark. And you continue to limp your way. The sail's in tatters, moving at half speed now. But your pursuit is persunk. How'd you do on your roll there, Gex?
17.
17. Nice. All right. You managed to move at your top speed, which is half of your regular sailing speed, and limp your way away from this whirlpool and the frontier spin. And I think that is where we're going to call it for tonight.
But before that, I'm going to put my hand on Issel's face.
Welcome to the party.
Heal.
I lean into it.
Yeah, I heal for another 5 hit points.
All right, I'll take it.
She baptism of fire is what that is.
That's right. Before we kind of I guess bunk down or whatever, I'm gonna go up to Gex. You know, when things settle. You know, still a little bit of blood, dried blood and everything from that whole adventure.
Yeah, it was great.
I'm gonna be like, it
was fantastic.
Did I do good?
You did.
Oh, yeah. You are quite the wee little adventurer.
Oh, yay. Oh,
Yeah.
I was so excited. And she just bounces.
That was rather triumphant, I must say.
I don't think I've ever beheld such an explosion before. They don't show you that in med school.
I mean, come on. That was amazing.
Told you we should have done this.
And the captain comes
knew.
out of his quarters. He's like, "All right, I'm ready to take my shift. Did I miss anything?"
I mean, I kind of love this captain. He's just kind of never there. Just like he's drunk and asleep half the time. Like,
Him
yeah,
and the
you guys
surgeon.
are on the ship. I'm good.
Yeah, drinking the same shit.
They're both just sharing. the
Yeah,
same-
him and the surgeon.
Oh.
man.
All right.
Oh, Frenzel.
You guys know where you're going. Take the wheel. It's all right. Tillman must be feeding shrooms like nonstop. Take some of these. Go to bed, man.
You can almost hire a whole ship for that. Yeah. Yes, but who's gonna fly it? You? Anyway, sorry. Had to for tonight. All right. Thanks, everybody. That was not what I had in mind, but you know, I should have known better. As a DM, I put up a giant sign saying, "Don't go here," and of course you go there to escape any kind of danger. And you steered into it. You ran into the blackberries, and I couldn't be happier. I will say this: if that had gone in a slightly different order, there were a few times when that could have just been like, that's it. Kaboom!
Full party kill.
Yeah. Remember when I made you roll
Welcome
that
back, Bella.
D100?
Yes.
I'm glad you didn't roll lower than a 10. That would have been bad.
We would have exploded. That's what I'm saying, man. Like, no risk, no reward.
Well, you took down an entire mage crew, mage tower ship. So you're in it now.
Wow.
Boy. That's
Oh,
gonna
man.
Make, that's gonna
All
make the return.
Now,
So when I started typing that crap in the chat, I don't know if you noticed, Todd, but Tihmily and I were looking at that. My idea was like we'd let them catch up to us. Then that boat would be trailing behind us, and we'd blow it up and knock a hole in their hull, and maybe they'd
absolutely.
sink,
It's
right?
a good idea.
But then you're like, no, there's explosive gas, and I'm like, oh, explosive gas. This is even better.
I mean,
And boat is far away.
I'm not going to steer away from giant methane clouds bubbling up from the ocean bottom.
That was
It
actually
was
kind of
one
perfect.
giant fart.
All
It
right.
was one giant.
Now, we do need an episode title. Internet, you get first dibs. So if you want to help us name tonight's episode, feel free to type it into chat. Players, you also can make suggestions for an episode title as well. Think about that.
Oh.
I think one was already made.
That's
Episode
just
title
one,
from
but now I'm thinking
Steve.
like,
Yes, there was the blazing blackberry bushes.
or like, you know, ye most ultimate blue angel. The devil's blue angel.
Wow, what a way to come back.
Well,
Yes, welcome.
thank you for joining us again, Bella, and we hope to see you as a series pseudo regular if we can make that happen. And of course,
Absolutely.
I'm happy to be back at the table with you all, and thanks very much for joining us tonight. And we will go with what was it, Blue Angel? I'm thinking like Sea God's Blue Angel. Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know. There's something about boom. I don't know. Boom ship.
The boom ship.
Anyway, we'll name it later. But thanks very much, and
Cool, thanks.
don't forget to check us out next week. We'll be back, and at some point we'll do some more shadow runs as well, because those are good times. And I think that's it for me tonight. And we're finishing a little past time, but not too bad. So have yourselves a wonderful week. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And we'll see you again next week. And don't forget to check out all our previous stuff, all the things that we do. Where'd it go? I had a thing. There it is. Don't forget to hit the subscribe or the follow. And we will see you next week for some more Dungeons and Dragons and role-playing. And have yourself a wonderful night. Thanks, everybody. Oh, and Steve, do we have ad copy? Is that a thing that we're doing?
Sure. What do you want me to advertise? I'll make it up right now.
How about an ad for Blue Angels?
Well, sure, I can do that. Sometimes in life, things just need a little bit of heat. They need a little bit of warmth. Sometimes you need to do this quickly. Sometimes you need to do this efficiently. So when the world creates a giant asshole at sea, and when this asshole at sea emits methane, we recommend Gex's special Bic lighters on a stick, fireable from any type of bow. Just use this simple prestidigitation spell to ignite the arrow, fire it into the asshole, and generate yourself the world's largest blue angel.
Blue
Got enemies
angel,
trailing at a
blue
distance of a
angel.
kilometer or so?
Won't you
Just
blow
fire
my...
freaking Bic arrow at them and boom! World's largest blue angel.
Get yours
Could be
today.
found. Get yours today inside the Bermuda Triangle.
Do you have problems? Just blow them up. This message has been brought to you by SideQuest Live. Thanks very much, everybody.
Got problems, got mages, just explode them.
Yes, got mage? Explode. If you have actual problems, please seek some help, and please don't resort to explosions. They rarely solve the world's problems. Sometimes, but very rarely. Anyway, steer clear, and have a wonderful week. We'll see you next time. Good night.
Good night.
Oh, that's a lot of
Whoa.
D20s.
That's 1,045.
Wow. That,
Did I read that right?
yes. Yep. Wow.
You got to get the actual animation this time. Share this on the stream.
Oh yeah, I did.
That's
I threw it on. We can
This-
do it again.
No,
Oh,
wait.
man. I just hope it
do
doesn't
more.
crash my
All
browser.
right, one more time.
Wait more. More. 200 at least.
201 D20s. I'm just curious what that's gonna roll and look like. Let's crash.
It's crashing.
D&D Beyond is like, just no, you can't. Oh my god.
I mean,
This is what
there
it would look
even
like if
space
it
for
was
the-
Shadowrun with D20s.
Holy shit.
So
Oh
what's,
my God.
what's the average? So we got
2,168. Damn. All right. Well, roll well. We'll see you next time. That's the way averages work. They'll approach 10 as you go. So the more you roll.
Oh, lordy.
All right. Have a good. We are now